Common mistakes in algebra and how to avoid them. I'm calling this part 1 because I'm sure there will be more videos to follow. This video follows a skills quiz that I gave for my Year 8 class, but it highlights a number of very common sorts of mistakes that students make. The good news is that these kinds of mistakes can actually be avoided, provided that you follow a few simple strategies. So let's jump right in. The first example is all about using a rule or a formula, substituting the given data into it, and then finding the value of an unknown. I'm going to focus on part B. The rule we're looking at is the volume of a pyramid, which is 1/3 a squared times h, where a is the area of the base and h is the height of the pyramid. So in part B we need to find the height of the pyramid, h, and we're given that v equals 108 and a equals 9. Alright, so the very first step that must be followed is to write the rule. Now if you leave this step out and try and do something fancy, you're probably going to make mistakes. So always write the rule. Never feel that it's a waste of time. Once you've written the rule, the next step is to substitute the values that you have. So I'm going to try and animate this because some students, I've noticed, find it hard to visualize what they're doing. So in place of v, you're going to substitute 108. So you're literally just replacing the pronumeral v with the value 108. Next we're going to replace the a with 9. And it's going to be helpful if we put a couple of multiplication signs into the rule to remind ourselves that it is 1/3 times 9 squared times h. So that's the second step. Notice I haven't done anything else to this equation. All I've done is substitute. I didn't do any calculations. In the next step, we look at the numbers and we're going to simplify the numbers. And you can use your calculator and you will get 108 equals 27 times h. Don't do anything else, just do one calculation per line. Once you've got to this point, it's looking very simple. We just need to find the value of h, and we do that by dividing both sides of the equation by 27. The 27's cancel out because 27 divided by 27 is 1. 1 times h is just h. So h equals 108 over 27, which equals 4. Please note that the equal signs follow down the page directly underneath each other. Setting out your work clearly and neatly is very important in maths. So, how to avoid the common mistakes? First of all, step 1, write the rule. No shortcuts. Step 2, substitute. And then the following steps are simply taken to solve the equation for the unknown variable. Note that you should just do one main step per line. It doesn't matter if you write several lines to get the answer. It's all about accuracy, not speed. And finally, don't try to do too much in your head. I've seen a lot of students doing this. They try and combine steps to either save paper or save time, and they end up making mistakes and getting the question wrong. Our second example is factorization of an expression. This expression has two terms, 25x and negative 30x squared. Factorization in this case means finding the highest common factor of each term and taking it outside a bracket. So the tip here is to look at the numbers and the letters separately. The highest common factor of 25 and 30 is 5, and the highest common factor of x and x squared is x. We multiply those two together and we get 5x, the highest common factor for this expression. Now, how do we find the numbers on the inside? Well, first of all, note that the highest common factor has been taken outside the bracket. So to find these missing numbers, you're going to take the term in the original expression and divide by the highest common factor in each case. So 25x divided by 5x. Once again, you can look at the numbers and the letters separately. 25 divided by 5 simplifies to 5, and x divided by x is just 1. They cancel out. So 25x divided by 5x is 5. That's the missing number. We have a minus sign, and then you repeat the same pattern. 30x squared divided by 5x. 30 divided by 5 is 6. X squared divided by x is x. Close the bracket and you're done. Here's another example, and this time I'm going to show you a couple of mistakes and how to fix them. First of all, we're looking for the highest common factor, and you might notice that 6 is a factor. So let's say that you start by taking a 6 outside the bracket. What goes inside the bracket? Negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. Now here's a bit of a problem. We don't really want a negative number as the first term inside a bracket. So I'm going to put the negative sign outside the bracket. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. That works nicely. And don't forget the x. Now, to get a plus sign, we have to remember that a negative times a negative is a positive. So this has to be a negative. 54 divided by 6 is 9. Close the bracket. Now, the tip is to have a close look to make sure you really do have the highest common factor. Do I? In fact, I don't. I missed the fact that 3 is a factor of both of these terms inside the bracket. Should I start again? No, not necessarily. All I have to do is multiply the negative 6 by 3 to get negative 18, and then each term I divide by 3. So 3x divided by 3 is x. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Close the bracket. So the point is that even if you don't find the highest common factor to begin with, make sure you double check and have a look to see if you missed something. And if you did, then you can take out a further factor without having to rework the whole problem.